Hey guys, welcome back to another Operation Arsenal, the final home game review of the season. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but it's not just about, our final home game of the season. It's so much more today, as I'm sure you're aware. Arsene Wenger is leaving at the end of the season, so this was his final home game in charge of Arsenal. The beloved Arsenal that he's lived through and lived for so long now. And not just Arsene Wenger's last game at home, but also Mertesacker's. I think it might be his final appearance, potentially, it's a bit of an odd one, this, because I'm obviously quite relieved that this whole era is coming to an end with Wenger stepping down. And I'm also quite pleased that Mertesacker's stepping down because he hasn't been very good for quite some time now. But I'm also sad because, Wenger's a big person in my life for sport. Since I was a kid, I've supported Arsenal and I've only ever known Arsene Wenger as the manager. I've not known anything else. I mean, we're talking, I was 3 when he joined, 3 years old. It's pretty crazy to think that all my life that I've supported Arsenal, there's only been one guy in charge at the helm, and that is Arsene Wenger. And this summer, that's coming to an end. I still haven't got my head around it. It's going to be really strange, but I think it's, of course, a good thing. And Mertesacker leaving, whilst he isn't an absolute club legend, he hasn't, changed the way we defended or anything. He's been a good servant to the club. He's been here a long time, and he's our captain. So of course it's sad to see him step down. But as I said, he's not the best player ever, and certainly hasn't been up to par for the last few years. And it's time for him to step down. I'm sure he's still going to be involved with the club, with the academy. Whether or not he's going to take a bigger role at some point, I'm pretty sure Mertesacker will be a great manager. He's got that charisma and that leadership quality that you need. And we've got quite a few players and ex-players, that have been involved with Arsenal, are still involved with Arsenal, that definitely can become absolute greats at being a manager. But there's also tons of other clubs that have great leaders. I think John Terry will be a great manager, just for example. So today was a good performance for a very fitting day. It's a perfect time for a performance like that. Although technically it would have been nice to play like this on Thursday. But what a great way to celebrate Arsene Wenger's final game at home. Really, really important that we played like that. If it was one of those shocking displays and we lost to Burnley, our nearest rivals at the moment, which is a joke in itself, it would have left a really sour taste. But he goes out from his final home game on a high, a 5-0 thrashing, and let's be honest, we did play very nice football today. Everyone performed well, even Bellerin performed well. One player still didn't perform particularly well in my opinion though, and that is Iwobi, but you all know my thoughts. I don't need to go into all that again. Just don't play him, please. Whoever comes in, do not play Iwobi. Let's loan him out, see if he comes back stronger and better. But I was just really impressed with the whole team, bar Iwobi, I guess. Aubameyang, Lacazette, playing so well together. It's just great to see them both celebrating each other's goals. You see a lot with big clubs, well, any football club, when you've got 2 star men going for goals, there's a rivalry. And you can almost tell that when one of them scores, the other one's angry almost, upset that it wasn't him getting all the glory. But with these two, they seem to really want to help each other out, which, it's rare to see. And for me, that is absolutely vital if we're going to keep hold of both of them. It's not typically an easy thing to have 2 star men in the same position, and I've purposely left Ozil out of that star men equation because he's not a striker, of course. But I've just got a bad feeling that he's not going to be here next season. Yes, he's signed a new contract, but that doesn't mean anything in today's modern world of football. He may have signed that contract just because Arsenal wanted to obviously get money for him instead of letting him go for free. They might have paid him some crazy money to stay on, and they've been paying him a lot of wages since January. I've just got a feeling. Apparently he was ill today, but I just don't believe it. It's almost as if Mesut Ozil picks and chooses when he plays, which for me is a no-no. No player decides when he's playing, unless of course he's got an injury or he is actually ill. He may just be ill, but you just get that feeling, don't you, with Mesut? It's like he's royalty. Yeah, he is. He is royalty at Arsenal. We all know he's better than Arsenal should have. Let's be honest. Over the years, he's been the best player along with Sanchez, and they both deserve to be at bigger, better clubs. But With Ozil, it just feels like it's always been the case that he can kind of say, nah, don't fancy playing tonight, boss, sorry about that, which is just not good enough. So if that's true, then he's got to go, really. No player is bigger than any other player. And that's why we've had such a tight wage structure over the years, which seems to be falling apart a little bit. Kolasinac was the first one that kind of broke that system. We got him on a free, but we had to pay him big money up front. And his wages are pretty high for the quality of player who he is. He is a great player, but let's be honest, he's not worth the amount we're paying him, which I believe, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but it's apparently around £120,000 per week, which is a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a player that hasn't played in our first team for quite a while. You know, it's been a long time since he was fully fit and getting a long run of games, but he was good tonight. And of course, with Sanchez asking for more money, we refused. I'm sure we would have paid a bit more, but we didn't pay him enough, clearly, because Man United offered more. And because we sold him and brought in Aubameyang on cheaper wages, we were able to give Mesut Ozil more. And now he's our highest paid player by quite a distance, which just disrupts everything. I don't know what made me talk about this. I've just got loads of thoughts going through my head right now. One thing to mention as well is this is the penultimate episode of Operation Arsenal for this season, which is pretty crazy. I've really enjoyed making these videos. I've actually found that over the last few months, I've talked less about each game and more about the club as a whole, because of course we've gone through a really tough period. I'm hoping next season, once we've got the new manager in and he starts to settle in and we start to just get good results, it'll be always about the game and actually reviewing the match and talking about what happened in the game, and less about what's going on outside of the club and what's happening with our manager situation, player situation. The whole Sanchez debacle went on for ages, and yeah, I'm looking forward to Arsenal just settling down a bit, because it has been a really, really tough 8, 9, 10 years being a supporter, just not knowing what's going on, what direction we're going in, and that will all change this summer. Maybe only temporarily. You know, it might be that we hire a manager and he doesn't perform well and we turn into, you know, one of the clubs that just hires and fires all the time. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm really hoping we find someone that's going to stay with us 4, 5, hopefully more seasons, and we settle down, because that's what we absolutely need to do. But we're starting from fresh, which is the exciting part for me. We will be selling a lot of players, I'm sure. We will be bringing in a few players. And by the way, I've just seen in the news that apparently Fekir has agreed with Liverpool. So that's another target that we've potentially missed out on. I'm not sure how concrete that is. But if we miss out on a player like Fekir, although I guess we technically don't need him if we are keeping Ozil, very similar type player, same kind of position, although can play better on the wing, I would say, and even up front. It'd be great to get Fekir linking up with Lacazette. You know, ex-teammates, big friends, and imagine if we had Fekir on the right, Lacazette up front, and Aubameyang on the left, cutting inside on his right foot. I mean, that's a pretty scary thought. So I hope he doesn't go to Liverpool. He's one of the targets that I really, really, really want to get. But of course, we need to focus on goalkeeper and defence. Talking of defence, though, Mavropanos got another start today. He looks like a very tidy player. Of course, it's very easy to jump on the hype train and say, oh, he's the next best thing, he's a Greek god, but it's very early days. We're talking, you know, just end of season hype here. You know, a player that's played well for a couple of games. It's really not worth getting too excited about it just yet. It seems like a bit of a bargain. That he does look like a great player for the future. I'd be interested to see how much more game time he can get while still at Arsenal. It might be good to loan him out. Who knows? But we do need to reinforce defensively. Now that Koscielny... I don't know what's going to happen with Koscielny. You know, for me, it's probably it. You know, he's probably got one season left in him. And this type of injury is not good. He's already been playing through injuries and pain for a few seasons now. And part of me just thinks that he will not be able to be a first-team defender week in, week out. So we need to replace him. We need to replace Mustafi, ideally. He's not good enough. Chambers was good today, but is he ever going to be good enough to be first-team quality? Holding, it's not looking great defensively, is it? And Mertesacker's leaving, so there's another hole we need to fill. But of course, the big hole we need to fill is the manager, and I'm really looking forward to finding out who we are going to bring in. But a 5-0 win against Burnley. Quick word on Burnley. You can hold your heads up. It wasn't a typical game, this. It was a huge one for us as a club. And you could see the players were just up for it, and Burnley didn't really have a very good game, did they? They didn't turn up, and They weren't their usual self, where they're really tough to break down. Great on the counter-attack. They barely had a sniff the entire game. But I wouldn't worry, because Burnley, they've had an incredible season. Way better than expected, for sure. Probably the surprise of the season, if I'm honest. Finishing in seventh. Sorry, we're going to be finishing in sixth. I cannot believe that. That's why Wenger's going. But Burnley fans, credit to you guys, and Sean Dyche done such a great job. It'll be interesting to see what they do this summer in terms of reinforcing their squad and how they deliver results next year. Whether it's just been a bit of a fluky season, I don't know. I think they're a very good team. Good young players in there that I'm sure will be poached. There's going to be a few players on their way out. Pope, Tarkowski. There's quite a few players that I'm sure a lot of teams will be looking at. Even Ashley Barnes, he's been impressive. He could be on his way. Who knows? They need to keep their players and stick them in that usual formation they've been using this season and just go again next year. But I'm happy that today went well. It could have gone really badly, but we've managed to send Arsene off. One game to go, but his last home game's gone down really well. Would we have won against Atletico if Ozil didn't start? I got a tweet just before I started recording. It's got me thinking, actually. Probably not the time to talk about it, but let me know your comments below. Do you think Ozil almost slowed us down against Atletico? They're a very physical team, and Ozil is not very good against physical teams. It feels like today we were much more equipped to deal with a defensive lineup. I think we may have won if we went with today's lineup. Of course, no Aubameyang, but interesting thought to leave you guys with. Thank you so much for watching. One more Operation Arsenal to go, and then it's going to be, random videos talking about the news, World Cup soon, all of that good stuff. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you click that notification bell so you never miss a video. And I'll see you next time. Oh, what a relief that today went well.